Oh, hell yes, people constantly look for validation when it comes to video games. It's so many different things, whether it be review scores, social media, YouTube video streams, etc. Let me explain. Especially in this day and age of social media, there are people who will get into a series, or at least try to do so as quickly as possible, solely because of the fact that when it's fresh, that's what most people are going to be talking about the series to join a discussion. Some people only care about being part of that discussion, so the discussion has died down by the time they have finished the title. They feel like that means the title has failed to have relevance of any kind, even though it has moment of time, just the fact that not everything that people talk about. Or there are many franchises that people don't really talk about out in the open, like in my experience in real life. You will not find a Tales of fan talking about the Tales of franchise unless someone else brings it up. When someone else brings it up, then people will start talking about it because they have played it. They just don't really feel like it's relevant enough for people to really talk about, but doesn't mean they see it as lesser as a result just because people talk about it. Just more of a, I enjoy this thing, the people around me probably didn't. Like I had one time when I worked at freaking GameStop where an employee thought he was the only one in their friend group to play a Tales of game, couldn't find anyone else who did, only to be shocked that every employee in the store had beaten at least one Tales of game, they just never asked. So we have this weird idea where people act as if a game's not constantly being talked about, even if it's years after the fact, that must mean the game didn't do that well, where it's like, no, you'll find the fans talk about it in their circles, everything on social media. Just because they're not openly talking about it constantly doesn't mean it suddenly did badly. Just because people still talk about, like, let's say games like Final Fantasy VII and Persona or whatever, doesn't mean that other games, let's say Metaphor or Soul Hackers 2, suddenly are, oh, they completely failed or whatever. Just means you gotta find the right people who care about those games and talk about everything. You know? A big one which, okay, that's not exclusive to gaming at all, but this the people who constantly feel like because they play more niche franchise, that means they are certainly now the big dog because of it, or people are now lesser if they play the whole entire, what people refer to as normie slop or mainstream games. Just because someone only plays something like Call of Duty or sports games doesn't suddenly make them lesser at all. Like, the issue isn't they only play that. The issue is if they only play that and then complain there's nothing else out there to play. That's when they sound ridiculous. But just because someone has a preference on a certain franchise or a certain genre doesn't suddenly make them lesser at all. Just because you play, let's say, a completely niche title, like, let's say you're out here playing freaking Robotrek. How many people know about Robotrek? Doesn't mean you're suddenly better than the people who have not played Robotrek and everything. Kind of one time example. I'm sorry, it's like the kind of one of the most niche I could probably think of off the top of my head. Robotrek. I don't know. Metal Warriors, go with that. So, there's this one entire thing where just people will feel like if the niche title they play, that means they are better than others. Like, no, it means you like this niche game, and it can now possibly help spread its popularity to other people because others to play it. You're in that position. But we just use it to bash other people by going, oh, you never played this title? You're just like a douchebag and make people not want to play the game at all. Whole entire thing. Like, once again, it's not a video game exclusive thing. Every medium has a whole entire thing. I mean, one of the go-to jokes I think of when it comes to being that kind of person is anime community and people going, you never seen Death Note? Like, don't be that guy. But time for the big one. People who look for validation in terms of review scores and sales. People who believe that if a game sells higher, that makes it better, and that makes them better for having played it because they're part of popular crowd. You know the part where I just said earlier, how people look down upon those who put in their popular titles, because when their title becomes popular, now they have the inflated ego and everything. Like, we can say it recently, Obscure Story 3, because the game kept selling more and more and won so many awards, which is fantastic for Samful Interactive, great for them. Hope the pressure now over your next title to deliver doesn't crush you, but great for the developers. But people act as if now they are better because they bought and played Expert Story 3, and now they are better than other people because the game itself did so well. It's like, you should be applauding developers who did a good job and yourself for having fun with the game. Not trying to use as a metric that, oh, I played this game, or I played this game back when it was before it was popular, when, even though from day one, when they showed the Xbox showcase, people had their attention on the game. Oh, except for me, who looked at the game and went, this game does not look real, the same way I thought Lost Soul Side did not look real. But there are people who act as if the game selling well, a game they did not work on themselves, selling well, suddenly means they are better having played it. The review scores one. This one is a paradox where you'll have people constantly say that review scores don't matter, which is true. What matters is your opinion on something. But hey, don't you make review videos? Yes, but notice I don't put review scores on them because, one, my review scores will shatter the brains of people who hear it, and two, because review score doesn't matter, what matters is what I say about the thing. There's nothing wrong with reviews themselves or using a metric. It's when people decide to use it as validation from enjoying something, like a whole entire thing. Like the fact that people get mad at review scores, not because they think, oh, the review score whole entire thing is super wrong. No, it's because they don't like it when a game they don't enjoy gets highly rated, because it feels like makes their opinion not feel valid, even though your opinion and feeling in the game are valid. Or people act as if a game they enjoy getting a low review score means there's something wrong with the person in question, and how dare they? Or people nowadays say, look at this hot/worst take ever kind of mentality. You know, some person literally giving their opinion on the thing, but now having any opinion that goes against the popular consensus is not considered a hot take or whatever kind of one-time thing. But there are people who look up reviews for games they already enjoy, already played, already own, just to try and get validation from the reviewer themselves, everything. I say this because Metacritic is constantly seen as this worthless metric to many people because they don't care about the review scores of the reviews that go up on it. People will generally ignore it, especially if the reviews don't go in the way that they feel about the product. But once it goes the same way they feel, suddenly it's now a barometer, a definitive proof that they are correct. And I get reminded of this because I saw a tweet talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, where someone talked about how, hey guys, remember, despite all the negativity being talked about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, look at the Metacritic score. It's ranked as one of the best Final Fantasy games, so none of the negativity matters. Shut the f*** up. How about that? One entire thing where now we can just say people who have a different opinion don't matter because Metacritic says otherwise, because now suddenly that's the benchmark of definitive proof that there can't be any issues with the game. People with negative opinion aren't valid in the slightest because look, it has a big number. We are now Dragon Ball fans. All we care about is big numbers, and if number go up, the better it is. Number go up. This isn't too much to account the fact that people are really using Metacritic, a website that's known to have people just easily review bomb the hell out of a franchise for whatever petty ass reason they have. But sure, let's use Metacritic as the benchmark or whatever, so that it can't be obviously manipulated with, or the goalpost removal, where if critics don't like something, then they're obviously subhuman and don't understand anything. But if the audience score, once again, the one that can be manipulated, is high, then suddenly people use that as a barometer and say, hey, know the critic score, that doesn't matter, what matters is the audience score and everything. Or vice versa. Like, it's a whole entire weird thing where people look for reviews not because they want to see, hey, what does this person say about the title? Does this recommend it or not recommend it? Or whatever. Something to help them gauge if they'll be interested. Instead, mostly used as a way to gauge their validation and whether they enjoy something. I mean, it's also partially where the meme, or I don't know the meme thing, but technically it's still a meme thing of people going, that's a Q opinion, a YouTuber give it to you, but these are the same people who do the exact same thing. The person who made that tweet about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metacritic score, that's a Q opinion, and the reviewer give it to you? It's like, obviously not. They like Rebirth, and that's great for them. I enjoy Rebirth, but I'm not gonna pretend as if I'm not doing the exact same thing as that meme. A subsequent look of validation is when a game gets altered or changed somewhat later via updates. Let's say a difficult thing becomes less difficult via update, or let's say different versions of a game, and one version is more difficult than the other for a variety of reasons. People then have this weird validation, mostly seen when it comes to something like the Souls franchise from Software, where Elden Ring, I'm using that example, had updates to tone down certain bosses that people complained were too much, and developers end up agreeing and tone them down. But the thing is, then people decide they need a badge of honor because they done beat the boss before the boss got nerfed, and therefore their play experience now way more valid than the people played afterwards. It's like this weird thing of, I did this before they passed it, therefore I'm better than you. It's like, congrats, you beat the boss in a state where even developers went, you know what, this boss is a bit too much, let's just fix that. You enjoyed suffering, I'm trying to say. You enjoyed playing a version of the boss that the developers went, you know what, we can actually tweak this thing, meaning they themselves thought something was wrong with it, but sure, had that validation. Okay. That's on top of something like the From Software fan, or had a validation of, I beat the game without using summons. Congrats, you beat the game without using one of the main mechanics of the Souls franchise, being the summon mechanic? Okay. Or the idea that someone is lesser for using that mechanic, or in other games, like say, for example, Kingdom Hearts 3, when it came to the Remind DLC, and people made as if you're not allowed to use summons when doing limit cuts. Like, why not? Because the summons are too cheap. Well, not necessarily. And two, I'm not going to sacrifice a time mechanic just to stroke someone else's ego. Oh, hell no. That weird idea of you can't use certain mechanics because they're too OP. I don't make a challenge run. Challenge runs are people going out of their way to do something specific. That's great on them and everything. I'm talking about people who say even a casual player isn't allowed to use all the mechanics of a video game because the mechanics will trivialize too much in their opinion, or feel like the win is not as valid. I played and beat Luminous Adventure X2 when that game did have the patch that gave you 99 lives for hard mode and allowed you to heal yourself, get that ability for hard mode. I'm not gonna suddenly harp on people who played the game afterwards. I'm just gonna say, hey, fun fact, this mode used to suck even more than it already did. But I'm not gonna be like, I beat it legit by beating that mode before you could use these mechanics. No, I'm glad those things got patched in. I'm upset they didn't put it to begin with, because some developers were huffing something when they made that hard mode for that game. And all I got at the time when people were talking about it was people going, you think this hard mode is difficult? Wait till you see their other games that did more ridiculous stuff. It's like, you're not helping the case, you're just justifying the bad game design. You're just justifying the baffling decisions that got through a committee. And it's weird because I've seen people praise other games when they trim the fat, like Legends of Wind Waker. When I trimmed the fat of the Triforce Hunt, people praised it. Or Gain a Faster Sail, people praised it. Twilight Princess, trim the fat of the Prologue, people praised it. Trim the fat of Wolflink segments, people praise it. But when it comes to certain things like freaking From Software games, suddenly now it's, I get more validation points because I beat it back when the game was busted, and therefore my experience is more valid than yours. I just want to ramble about this whole entire thing of people being really obsessed with having their opinion validated as if they can't just enjoy the thing. No, they enjoy it, know their own feeling. No, it just typically makes sure other people know it and that they agree with it, and if they don't agree with it, then there's something wrong with them, and how dare they have a different opinion. One entire aspect. And grasping at literally anything, whether it be grasping at review scores, but later we'll say, oh, these review scores don't matter because they don't go with what I want, or even just one entire thing of, I played the game like this, therefore, if you don't play like me, did you really play the game correctly? It's like, unless they're doing something actually wrong in the game, like ignoring tutorials and stuff like that, and even when technically they still have to beat the game, I mean, they beat the game, that's all that matters. But just one on the whole entire thing of people grasping at anything to desperately look for validation. I know people try to use some excuse of, well, it's because of the vocal minority and all that. Okay, why does that matter to you? Like, honestly, why does it matter to you to the point you need to grasp at it to a point where you need to downplay everyone else for being an opposite opinion? And no, still, I'm not saying the idea have to be a negative opinion. Like I said, this can go vice versa of people who want to shut down positivity for something that's a bad reputation and everything. Just people, for some reason, obsessed with needing to validate their opinion over a video game, whether it be people need to be talking about the video game when they play it, people need to play the game like they did, or people need to have the exact same opinion on the game that they have on it. Otherwise, insert the hot takes and everything, and look at you with your hot take or worst take for saying something different than I did. What I gotta say about it, go out there, play games. Hopefully you don't need your validation fix for playing a game. Hopefully you can be confident in how you feel about the game yourself, everything, and how you feel about it. Or it's a game that has much buzz. Perhaps you yourself could help spread buzz about it, since you want the game to spread and more people to enjoy it, and don't instead use it as some superiority complex because you played it and others didn't. Once again, do not be that person who goes, you didn't watch Gurren Lagann? That's all I gotta say about the topic. Alrighty then, good day.